Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Our third life. Ever since the beginning of time, the basic unit of any civilization has been the family. Man's first and fundamental drive has been for family. This is his first life. In the world which has evolved, man has had to work to create securities for his family. The work life is man's second life. The work varies. The worker, whether factory hand, housewife, the laborer out of doors, the school teacher, the nurse, the doctor, lawyer, salesman, white-collar office worker, businessman, big or small, all lend a hand toward the creation of our second life, our business, our work world. What we do within ourselves, with our family, and the work we select is important to our life. But there is a third life, that which we do for our community, for our country. There must be an awareness for those who need help. Here, indeed, is opportunity for each citizen, individual or corporate, to make a third life contribution to his country. Every year, by accidents alone, 360,000 people become permanently disabled. Add the disabilities caused by disease and war, and the result is a list 30 million names long. Medical science is returning more and more of these people to useful lives. What about the future of these people who will need special help before they can earn a living once more? For many, help may come from public or private vocational rehabilitation offices. Here, the concern is not with the cure, which is often impossible, but in setting the disabled person on the road to usefulness and a job. If necessary, individual private therapy and guidance may be worked out. Physical therapy is part of the plan for preparing the disabled person for employment. For those who require it, a program of crutch training is instituted. When both legs are paralyzed, walking successfully with crutches is quite an achievement. Another aspect is vocational training, training to match up the handicapped person with a job for which he shows an aptitude and can handle successfully. Once training is over, he is ready, willing, and able to work, but too often the road back becomes a dead end. He joins a million other disabled who seek but cannot find gainful employment. Hire a cripple, too many leave it to the other fellow. However, modern management in our most successful companies today has learned that it's good business to hire the handicapped. It is not charity. In the northwest section of Chicago, one of our largest insurance firms, Bankers Life and Casualty, employs over 3,000 people, handicapped and non-handicapped. Here's their president, John D. MacArthur.
Here in the home office, we have a big job. It's a highly technical job. It requires speed and accuracy, and it takes capable people to do it well. For example, we have millions of files, and if one file gets out of place, you can just imagine the difficulty we're in. Now, in operating a public business, you have to give the people service. Speed and accuracy they demand. And I am very proud of the people that are doing this job. And I'd like to have you go out and take a look at them for yourself.
Almost any job can be performed by some handicapped person. Take Lou, for example. He's strong and healthy, hasn't missed a day since he was hired over 3 years ago. Although Lou can't speak or hear, this doesn't prevent him from being a good worker. He can perform clerical operations with a minimum of distraction. The non-handicapped and the deaf can work side by side. When you like the person you're working with, you're more than willing to learn their language, not because you have to, but just to make things a little easier. George is a combat veteran. After rehabilitation in a veterans hospital, he is now a trained technician. But for every veteran like George who's been restored to the dignity of a job, there are veterans capable of work, but unemployed. Running an intricate electronic machine is not normally a job you'd expect a one-handed person to perform. But Bill, like so many handicapped who have received training, has learned to make one hand do the work of two. And now let's meet Evelyn, one of the best secretaries a top executive ever had. Evelyn lost her arm in a childhood accident. She was naturally right-handed, too. Her disability hasn't stopped Evelyn from becoming not only a top-notch secretary, but also a happy wife. In a large insurance company, naturally, there's a great deal of paperwork. There are jobs calling for strenuous physical activity. Its work is ideally suited for our senior citizens, even for those who come back after hospitalization with a chronic disability. Here, life often begins at 60. As long as the spirit is still young, the brain is still nimble, and hands are still capable of producing accurately the required volume of work. Mrs. Stewart, for example, started working here at the age of 73, and that was better than 10 years ago. She's handled thousands of premium receipts, running into millions of dollars without a mistake or a complaint. Here is another senior citizen, Miss Donovan, with 30 years of experience as a speed typist. White Cross insurance policies are serviced by hundreds of people disabled by reasons of war, disease, accident, or age who have built up an imposing record. The White Cross policyholders benefit from their record of accurate work, high production, low absenteeism, and low turnover, coupled with a fine spirit of teamwork, pride, and loyalty. It's no wonder the doors of the Bankers Life and Casualty Company are open to everyone. Each applicant for a job is considered as an individual. There's no rejection because of the convenient label, disabled or too old. Nor is there hiring simply because of pity. And this is all the handicapped ask: to be given the same opportunity as anyone else, no more, no less. Down through the years, the big jobs in government as well as in business have been done best by able men and women regardless of handicap. In 1947, President Harry S. Truman created the President's Committee for Employment of the Physically Handicapped. In 1953, the President's Committee listened to a distinguished speaker, President Eisenhower, who brought to the presidency an awareness of our country's need for the handicapped. He was telling of an officer he had requested when about to invade the continent in 1944. The Pentagon had denied his request. The officer wanted was crippled with arthritis.
And I said, please send this man right away quickly. It's his head and his heart I want, and I'll carry him to battle in a litter. But a man simply because he has arthritis in the knees is still fitted to do the job I want. I'm trying to show you that we can, after all, even in war, overemphasize this question of complete physical normalcy. Incidentally, you'll be glad to know the sequel, which was that man led his corps brilliantly throughout the rest of the war and fully met every expectation I had of him.
And perhaps any of us who want to get a job done well should remember the words of Attorney General Robert Kennedy, a recent speaker before the President's Committee, when he said,
I don't think that there's any question that if it hadn't been for his experiences during the war and being badly wounded and incapacitated, that except for those experiences and being incapacitated for so many years, that he wouldn't be President of the United States at the present time. He certainly wouldn't have written his book, Profiles in Courage, which won a Pulitzer Prize, except for the fact that he was incapacitated. And I doubt very much, if looking over the history of Franklin Roosevelt, that he would have been President of the United States if he had not been incapacitated for a long period of time.
throughout our country, the work of the President's Committee has been rewarded by cooperation of America's business leaders. An estimated 6 million persons who would have been considered unproductive are now off the welfare lists, are now proud in the dignity of a job that joins them with other taxpayers in making our country more productive, more secure, stronger. And in our business world, the President's Committee finds, at Bankers Life and Casualty, dramatic proof of its promise. It's good business to hire the handicapped. Let John MacArthur tell you.
Don't think of me as the employers of the people you've seen. It's the 5 million policyholders. The 5 million policyholders insured under the White Cross plan that are the real employers of these people. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're one of them. Maybe it's the people next door. I don't know, and it doesn't make any difference. But I have a request to make, a sincere request. I want you to cooperate with the President's Committee and put this program across. I like that poster. I hope they made millions of it. I'd like to see it nailed to every telegraph pole in America. It'll focus the attention of the public on the ability of people rather than their disabilities. Hire the handicapped. It's good business. It's ability that counts. It's certainly paid off for this company, and I know it'll pay off for you.